Okay, so I'm back for episode 144. Listen, I'm never gonna watch Beyond the Gates live again because 25 minutes worth of commercial is crazy. I just rather watch it on Paramount Plus where I ain't gotta watch the commercials. Why is Leslie at the hospital? Why is Leslie at the hospital? Why is Leslie at the hospital? She always poking and prodding her nose. At this point, somebody in the Dupree family needs to file a restraining order against Leslie because why is she always around where they are? That lady is obsessed with them, and it's like seriously a problem. Like, seriously. Leslie has been trying to sink her claws into Haley for the longest, and Haley has not been giving her any play because Haley cannot let Leslie in on her plan. But Leslie's not dumb. Leslie knows exactly what is going on, and she's been clocking T since the first time we seen her approach Haley. But now, because Bill is going through and Haley seems to be a wife in distress, of course, Leslie is going to come and make sure that she's, being some kind of support to Haley. Why? Because when Eva was going through her situation at the hospital, the Duprees were nice and friendly to her, but she still didn't have nobody, and so she didn't want to leave Haley by herself. Both of them are very much calculated. And you see how when Kat finally came out, or when Kat came around the corner with Naomi and Chelsea, and she peeped that Leslie was over there with Haley, she said, now, why in the world would them two be in cahoots? What they over there talking about? Exactly, because that's how we was looking too, Kat. I forgot to address this in the last review, but Dani, calling Bill your husband, even if Haley stressed you out, was absolutely asinine, sister. And I cannot get behind that tomfoolery. That's just foolish. But I'm glad it happened in front of everybody, because that one instance, Anita is going to have a follow-up conversation with Dani about that whole thing. She won't go have it at the hospital, even though they kind of like tinkered on what exactly is going on. But she was like, Daddy, you need to go and cool yourself off. You need to leave, because what is Andre going to think about this? And Anita also ended up calling Nicole as reinforcement to come down to the hospital and help her deal with Dani, because Dani got so much going on. Dani technically won't supposed to be there because, Bill is no longer her concern, according to what she said a couple episodes ago. But nonetheless, she's here for the girls, even though Haley did eat her up when she said they grown, they don't really need you here. But nonetheless, the daughters don't play, and the daughters want their mom here. And it kind of seems like, according to, at least to me, Chelsea is always like, I wonder how mom is going to feel about what dad, or I wonder how mom is going to feel if something was to happen to dad. He never, she's been the one the last 2 or 3 times to bring that up. So I'm just like, is Chelsea holding out hope for Dani and Bill? Because, girl, I'm not rooting for them. I'm not rooting for Dani and Bill. Bill is raggedy. Bill don't deserve none of this loyalty that Dani is giving him. But nonetheless, we come to find out, officially per the surgeon, that Bill went into cardiac arrest. His heart stopped. At first they thought he had a heart attack. Well, the family. And we was thinking, all these times going on, in the past, that Bill was having stroke-like symptoms and TIAs and stuff. But this time, he officially was having an episode of cardiac arrest where his heart stopped. So all them times where Bill should have actually went to see somebody, where he was woozy and tripping and all that stuff, oxygen was not getting to where it was supposed to be, and he was on his way to the ancestral plane. Dani and Haley are still going back and forth, and at this point, Haley is baiting Dani and trying to make herself look like the victim. Everybody in the hospital sees it, and yet Dani is still taking the bait, because at this point, Dani don't care. That is a lioness, and she is there to protect her cubs and her family, and she don't play. Andre finally arrives from the photo shoot, and I'm like, Andre, where the ham sandwich have you been, friend? We needed you around. But he too busy, worrying about who sent the bottle and who after him, because only God knows who's after him, which I think is Heather. But nonetheless, he gets home from the photo shoot. Dani ain't there. So he calls Chelsea. Chelsea is in the middle of finding out what's going on with Bill. So he just texts her, well, At first, Chelsea sends him a text, and then he calls Chelsea immediately, and Chelsea says, well, I gotta go. I gotta find out what's going on. So he thinks Dani is the one in the hospital. Come to find out, when he actually gets to the hospital, it's Bill that's in the hospital. And you could tell that Andre felt the way that Dani was there because Bill was there. But when he got there, he didn't see Dani. And after they told him Dani wasn't the one in the hospital that she was visiting, immediately he was like, why is Dani in the room with Bill and Haley is sitting out here? Questions, the same question we all had, Andre. We on the same page, friend. We on the same page. Once Bill awakens from surgery, Ashley comes out of his room and says that, the family is okay to go back there and see him. And so right when Haley was about to get up and go back there, Ashley says, oh, well, he wants to see Dani. Everybody's looking like, what? Because, Bill, why you want Dani back there instead of Haley? And I know, like, the bells have to be ringing in Bill's mind. They just have to, because Bill just had a conversation with Chelsea a couple episodes about Haley possibly running around town having an entanglement with somebody else, and you paid her dust, and now you've had multiple health issues, and your wife was nowhere to be found, and she was on her way to St. Bart's. And then Bill made a joke about her leaving and going to St. Bart's. And I was just like, Bill just, at this point, he's moving very, like, reckless with this whole situation with Haley. At this point, to me, it's given Haley is just technically his wife. They are married. They do marital things. But at this point, he still considers Dani his wife as well. Like, asking to see your ex-wife before seeing your wife is nuts, Bill. And then when Haley eventually got in a room and was just like, enough of this, because, she only did that because Leslie gave her the backbone to do it, because she was going to sit out there because she didn't really care about Bill for real. So she goes in there and, Dani leaves out. She's like, enough of this. And so basically Bill feeds her the story that, he just wanted to go ahead and get it out and apologize to Dani in any event something happened to him. He didn't get a chance to apologize because he felt bad. No, don't feel bad now. Stand on 10 toes, because you had that lady up all through your house and in your clothes while your wife and your daughter was gone out the country handling business. You had that lady up and through your home, fussed her out, told her how ragged she was, and you didn't want to be married to her no more. And now all of a sudden, look at you marrying this bimbo, and now she trying to send you to the afterlife. I can't even be mad. Because, Bill, that's what happened when you play. No good come to you when you wreck your family. It just is what it is. There was a point where, Bill told Naomi, when Naomi Chelsea came to the room, that he don't even have a book or something. So she was like, well, I need the code to the house. I just want y'all to know that when Naomi finally arrives to that house, once she gets that code, she going through that stuff. And I hope she finds that vial of potion that Haley been putting in all of Bill's stuff, because I need her to be busted with a capital B. I need her to do jail. And last but not least, let me say this. Vernon overheard the girls possibly talking about Haley and her affair with Randy. And so Vernon calls Joey and says, Joey, why am I hearing that one of your men is having an extramarital affair with Haley? I know you know what's going on. So why are you not handling it? And Joey said, quite frankly, I heard of it. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And then he said, me and Bill are good. He was like, but if I needed something from Bill, I got enough information to blackmail Bill, and then hang up on Vernon. So I'm just like, Joey, you just ain't worth 2 cents, because you just swore down on this man that if something happened to him, you would make sure his family was straight. And you know something going on between Randy, because Randy been acting strange. And then Randy got a text message from Haley saying that Bill made it out of surgery because they thought Bill was going to perish. And so I'm just like, Joey, when you going to bust Randy? Because you know something going on behind your back, and you know that you can't trust him and that he keep lying. So when you going to say something? Because you promising all these people your loyalty, and you ain't holding up your end of the bargain, Joey. So what's the tea with that, friend? Please explain yourself.